with everything that's been happening right now, we've been seeing recently in terms of price hikes, game cost increases, console cost increases, PS Plus increasing, and everything else, and people getting really upset about having to pay more money for less product, Xbox could be in a good position in order to go ahead and finally be, dare I even say, a pro-consumer company. Pro-consumer company.
Wow! Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, today's going to be a good one because it's fresh off the coping of Xbox raising their prices on their games later on in 2025, increasing their hardware immediately at this point in time, and those that were putting their foot in their mouth right before this happened, and some trying to damage control it as we are going on right now. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is I'm going to start off actually with some context behind some of these examples today. Yes, this is a Salty Batch Files, and we have some Salty Batch stuff to go over here, but context, right? So let's pull this first one up. This was alluding before the announcement of the increase of the $80 games, as well as the increase in hardware costs here. So as you can see, in addition to COD, Microsoft Activision have also increased the prices of Crash, Spyro, Tony Hawk, and Prototype by up to 20% on Steam. In 2023, several Activision games saw a price increase of up to 152% on the platform, and some are increasing in price once again. Right? Just kind of this looming overtone, and I did share this on social media. And quick to the defense are the Xbox Defense Force and all the shills and frauds and grifters, right? Right in the comment section, like, this is still much cheaper than A, B, and C and all this stuff of where they're available. The point is, the games are increasing. At the point of this time, this was alluding to something, and I knew it was alluding to something. I'm like, if they're touching up with these older titles all of a sudden, it doesn't matter how minimal the cost is, it doesn't matter where you're able to purchase these from, something's going on. And the fact that they were defending a price increase. I'm not defending the PS Plus price increases. I'm not defending any price increase, whether that be from PlayStation, whether that be from Nintendo, and especially not from Xbox, given the position that they are in. Okay, so now let's get to the old meat of the matter here as far as context. Now this is what I'm going to post up here. If you haven't seen it, here you go. This is going forward. Here are the expected prices on the various Xbox consoles and accessories in the US at least. So depending on your territory, this will differ, of course. Xbox Series S12, $379. This was up from $299.99 originally. And by the way, a lot of these at the time of this recording have gone live that I have seen at a lot of different retailers and outlets. And as you can go through, I don't need to announce every single one, but it is pretty substantial. The Series S1 TB from $429, that's up from $349.99. And then, of course, the Series X Digital was $449, now up to $549. Xbox Series X, $599, that's up from $499. And of course, the 2TB Galaxy Speckled Spray Paint version is up to $729, up from $599.99. And as you can go down further, you can see this with the controllers and other accessories as well, headsets and all that. And then, of course, Microsoft issued IGN with the following statement as to why the price increases were taking place. We understand that these changes are challenging, and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we can continue to focus on offering more ways to play, more games across any screen, and ensuring value for Xbox players. So, of course, reiterating that, hey, we're third party, we're going to put Game Pass everywhere Game Pass can be, we're going to put our games everywhere they can be in order to make us this money back that we spent billions and billions of dollars on, dating back from, Rare all the way through ZeniMax and up to ABK and all that stuff, of course. So, and again, let me preface this before we continue with the salt stuff here. Let me preface this that I am fully aware, fully 110% aware that PlayStation will more than likely follow suit. So this isn't like, PlayStation's pro-consumer now. No company or corporation is pro-consumer. Like we had the opening with Alex there. No company or corporation is for you, the consumer. They are not pro-consumer, no matter how you view that towards you as a consumer, whether it be a subscription service, whether it be game sales, whether it be what's value to you in an ecosystem, that's for you to decide. But as far as a greedy corporation going out of their way to make you happy, no. Like I've stated multiple times, they are out there to make you happy enough, to keep you around, to keep you in an ecosystem one way or the other. That's not to be your best friend. That's not for them to give you their salaries and bonuses and checks in order for you to have a good time out there. That's not what they're here for. Duh, right? So let me preface that. It will more than likely be happening, but before it does, let me post up a couple examples here. We still have the Astrobot PlayStation bundle right now for a great price. Pick it up if you have not done so already. This will save you some serious money down the road, especially with GTA 6 at least being delayed. At least you have this stuff, right? If you don't have it already, you have great exclusives, yada yada. Not trying to sell you on it, but if you haven't and you were looking into it, definitely consider it right now. And then, of course, the PS5 Pro, which I think will carry you over. With this all being said, I don't think that we're going to be seeing the next generation that soon. I think it'll be delayed due to all the tariffs, due to the inflation market, due to, again, the rising cost of development and so on and so forth. So they're probably going to extend this generation further than what we had originally thought, I would say. So keep that in mind as well. But yeah, you know, $700 for a Pro system that has all these bells and whistles, as opposed to even the 2 terabyte Galaxy spray painted Xbox. And here you're going to get, and again, all fanboyism aside, the truth of the matter is you're going to get the Xbox first party games coming on that console and system as well. So again, you have choices to make, but just kind of like a PSA, right? Anyways, let's continue on here. Now, I know I showed this before, and I know we opened up with Alex, and this was part of it, but I do again want to sit here and state and show this thumbnail here, right? The disaster, PlayStation, Nintendo greed, set up Xbox success. He knew what he was doing with this thumbnail. He knew what exactly he was doing, and I do have his sheep and followers coming into my comment section. You should have watched the video. He meant this and this, and then of course he was bolstering up a little bit of PlayStation. I get that. I understand that 110%, but we know what this thumbnail is doing. We know what the title is doing. It's to entice you to jump into the video, to get that narrative. But for those that don't, there's a lot of people that don't sit here and watch through the videos, watch through the content. They see that, and it's disingenuous. We know it. He knows it. We all know it. Simple, simple. So I am, again, going to put this up there because foot and mouth. Another day that ends in Y that Alex flubs up and trips over himself, and he'll have his cronies and stuff come back and damage control, and this isn't what he meant, and this and that, but we all know what he meant, what he was trying to do, how he's trying to grift, fraud, steal, all that good stuff. Just a quick reminder as we go on. Now, how are we doing? And I haven't featured Danny Pena here at all, if ever, right? I might have mentioned him one other time before. What can I say here, guys? Like I said, Zuby Tech here announcing Xbox Series X is more expensive than the PlayStation 5 Pro. Hashtags, all stuff, shows the comparisons, right? Just simply doing that. And yes, Zuby likes PlayStation a lot. That's his preference, place to play, on and on and on. However, it looks like Danny took an issue with this and states, like I mentioned before, a price increase for the PS5 Pro is coming. So obviously upset about this. Just wants to let people know. Exactly, you're right, Danny. This is coming, more than likely, a price increase for PlayStation. So I think it's good that gamers are out there spreading the word of this. I think it's good that you have people out there saying, hey, here's some value here before it does go up. You might want to purchase this stuff, just like I was mentioning before. So to me, this post, this tweet, whatever, it comes across as, you know, you're kind of upset about this a little bit, and honestly, you shouldn't be. If we're talking about value and you're behind the value, I think that we're okay with that without making a statement like, hey, a PS5 Pro is coming. If this was more of a genuine piece of it, I think you would come across saying, you know, this is a great value. If you haven't, like I was saying before, maybe pick this up, because more than likely, like I was saying, a PS5 price increase for hardware and games is more than likely coming as well. So just kind of preface that. I think you owe that to the audience. I owe it to anybody that watches my content as well. that, hey, look, this is what's going on. You don't have to get a PS5 if that's not your cup of tea. That's okay. This is just, again, a PSA, because it is more than likely going to go up. So if you haven't yet, pick it up. If you don't want it, you're cool with renting, you're cool with Game Pass, by all means. But I'm not going to sit there and repost what Danny said here and be like, yada, yada, yada. No. Or if somebody said that about, shoe other foot, PlayStation increased their stuff first, and then Xbox was there, and then Danny or whoever posted that Xbox is still $4.99 or $5.99 as opposed to PlayStation stuff increasing, right? I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, how dare you? And by the way, Xbox is going to be following suit soon too, more than likely. No, not going to do that. Let people have that information without you seeming like that's an unfair biasness there. But just wanted to kind of share that. Thought that was odd. Now, off to the real salty person here. Colt Eastwood, Colt Eatwood, whatever you want to call him. Xbox is easily the most pro-consumer console right now. Very short time ago, what are we seeing? April 6th, very short time ago, the most pro-consumer console, but at least he has the words right now. So that kind of covers a little bit, but however, how they were just touting that horn, right? Following that trend and just trying to deliver that hype. He's a PC guy now, an Xbox refugee, if you will. But by the way, it's the most consumer-friendly console right now. Can't beat the allegations, buddy. And then, of course, he's replying to another gentleman, you're an idiot. Read it again. Xbox is effed with this price hike. Yep. He's responding to something he stated because it's kind of maybe taken out of context, but not really, because we know what he's trying to do, right? But again, now you think they're effed? Buddy, they were effed years and years ago. Hence the shift, hence everything. I still have people coming in the comment section like, they're still increasing the subs. Buddy, they're looking for 100 million real short. I don't see that happening. And if they do have that happening, they're not course correcting and doing a 180, like I've stated multiple times. They're not doing a 180. They're not going to sit there and be like, well, we're keeping our exclusives going forward, guys. You had some of our cake, now you can come over. That's not happening. They made their bed. They just cannot compete hardware-wise between Nintendo and PlayStation. It's just not going to happen. But you got to love how Colt is super. And this feels, again, this, if he was truly, and here's the thing, if you're truly a PC guy, you're maining that stuff, you're in that platform as your primary platform, why even partake in console wars? Who cares? You do get a little bit of everything. You have an open platform. I've never understood the angle that PC elitists come at, where they're just like, hey, I wouldn't care, dude. I'd be sitting there eating my cake and eat it too. If that was my primary platform and I was happy with it, what's there to be upset about? A little salty, I'm sure, that you have to wait for those PlayStation first-party games to hit your platform if you're looking to get those day one. I could see you being a little salty there. But to the lengths that they're going, right, the Alexes and everybody else, and now these Xbox refugees, right, it's just something else. I can't fathom it. That's how you know they're hurt deep down inside. It's either, pay attention to me or whatever the case is. However, let's keep going here. We got another example here, Nico. Just a short time ago, just a couple days ago, Nico stating 500 million active players, because we're all about them MAUs, right? 45% revenue growth. Welcome to being multi-platform and having a ton of IPs to disperse everywhere that's already been available. Biggest publisher on PlayStation. Yes, congratulations for being a publisher, a third-party publisher now. Congrats to EA and Ubisoft as well out there. Congrats, you guys deserve some sort of an award. And then, of course, record-breaking Q3 results. Yes, in some ways, absolutely. I guess that's a W. Congratulations. Being a third-party publisher once again. Fantastic job, Nico, for bringing this to our attention. Now, how's Nico feeling about these price increases, though, guys? This breaks my heart. This is not the way. Bad day for gamers. Stating Xbox and Microsoft reveal global price increases for consoles, accessories, and even games. Published by yours truly, Jez Corden. Karma, right? Karma sitting there bragging about it. And what's there to brag about a third-party publisher now? What's there to brag about? That's so odd and bizarre to me. But, it's just sitting here, and then it breaks my heart. Bad day for gamers. Yeah, well, now gamers have a choice to make, don't they? They have your TVs that you can stream, your beloved Game Pass that you tout so heavily on, that you spend all this time on, and it's such a great value. Who cares? Because people can just get a brand new TV now. That should be a good thing, right, Nico? That should be a great thing, but it breaks your heart and a bad day for gamers. Yes, it does suck for console gamers. And again, PlayStation's more than likely going to follow suit, so you have some choices to make. And it is becoming more and more of a luxury hobby, guys. Hate to break it to y'all, but it is. And some people are like, well, that's what the value is for Game Pass and stuff like that. I know, but again, you're renting, and Game Pass, from rumor has it, take with a grain of salt, it will come with another increase this year, and I hear rumor down the line that it is also increasing yet again in Q2 of 2026. Again, just some rumors from some insider stuff that was being forwarded to me. Grain of salt, do not take that to the bank and cash it, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if it did. So if it does, I mean, you're continually upping those subscription prices, and like we talked multiple times before with Disney Plus, Hulu, PS Plus, Game Pass, Nintendo Online, all that stuff, cuts have to be made somewhere. You have choices to be made. One of those subscriptions are going to be cut off, right? And what's that choice? Does it make more sense to own your game that you can play at any time now, in the future, whatever the case is, right? It just makes more sense. I've always alluded towards owning is better than renting as a whole, especially when it comes to a lot of these caveats, right? But let's keep going here. This is great here. Lots of stuff to go over, so thank you for bearing with me here. But Ryan McCaffrey even bending the knee once again, and I'm sure he'll talk shit about the console later on down the road. But however, for right now, Microsoft's price hiking inspired me to buy a console today. As I've said on podcast, covering his ass here, I already plan to do this, is I want the best day one GTA 6 experience, which he did say that, I'll give you that, but covering himself, right? And since I'll now be shocked if Sony doesn't raise the Pro to 800 soon, I decided to act now. Absolutely. So, tit for tat, yes, it makes sense. Again, even Ryan McCaffrey, one of the best Xbots out there, and shills out there for the Xbox brand, is even bending the knee, understanding the reality of the situation. You might as well play GTA 6 if that's your cup of tea and you want to play it in the best console experience possible. You would pick up, of course, that PS5 Pro, and especially before that price increases. In addition to that, Destin. Honestly, if price hikes are coming to PS5 Pro, I may join Ryan and also buy it now ahead of the GTA 6 launch. Even the great Destin Legary, the Xbox shill, and all that stuff as well, definitely known for that. Now a supposed PC player, main platform person, obviously because we know GTA 6 isn't coming out day and date on PC. It makes sense why he'd pick up a PS5, and again, he'll probably trash on the PS5, and when it's available on PC, he'll make some sort of, media piece where on his channel, he'll sit there and say, this is what's so much better and fleshed out on the PC. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a double-handed thing, but it is interesting that they do have to bend the knee and get that PS5 Pro if they want that day one best console experience possible. That's what's going to happen here. So you gotta love to see it. Now, as we move on here, we have one more example. This is going to be a video of the Three Stooges here, of course. So before I reveal too much, go ahead and take a look at this here.
Remember, we're already 5 years into this generation, and all the early adopters who love Xbox and are down already got their boxes, right? So what they're targeting is the people who are now going to want to come over because what? Because now Xbox has all these games, right? All these games, Game Pass looks good now because there's so many games in Game Pass that people want, right? So they're going ahead and they're saying, okay, all you late adopters who didn't think that it was smart to go buy an Xbox before, you wanted to wait to the value proposition was that much higher. Guess what? Here you go. You're welcome. You now get to go and experience Xbox, but at a higher premium cost. Should have waited. That's it.
I mean, again.
All right. So I debated putting this in the beginning of a video later on with some stuff, but man, you want to talk about Delusion 101 here, folks? What are we talking about? Now it's like, hey guys, you should have recognized the value that was the Xbox platform and ecosystem when you had the chance. You messed up, and now you're going to pay the price. Is that really Is that really how these guys garner followers? That's the belief behind it. That's the belief behind it, is it's okay that they increase these prices across the board. You know, and the other thing is, can you imagine the faux outrage here? And I understand why Xbox is increasing, by the way. If you didn't catch this drift or anything like that, I understand why they're increasing the stuff. Again, like they said, development costs are rising. There's tariffs. There's all these other variables, right? I understand. Like, I'm not happy with it. I'm not making excuses for it. I know PlayStation more than likely will do it, and I'm not making excuses for them. It's just the reality of it, right? Like I said, it's becoming a luxury product here at this point in time for this hobby. However, for them to sit there and spin and lie to their fan base and have so many followers and just be like, guys, you deserve this for not picking that system up yet. All right. That's a way to say it. You know, there's a ton of casuals on there still on the Xbox One and PS4 generation, guys. There's a ton of casuals because guess what? Maddens are still released for it. WWE games are still released for it. Call of Duty games are still released on those consoles. Yeah, so people don't jump over because they're super casual and they only play one game, 1 or 2 games. Well, that's kind of a crappy thing to say. I mean, in phrasing it that way, that's such a crappy thing to say. And the coping and delusion behind it and making excuses is just putrid at this point. Flat out embarrassing and pathetic and all the above, right? But don't let those guys be your heroes. Don't follow those idiots like that. At least follow people that at least somewhat give you the truth. If you're going to do an Xbox-centric type of pro person, I recommend going out there, even though he's kind of delusional at times. Doc Darkness. I mean, I think Randall Thor is pretty, you know, down to earth most of the time. So shout out to those guys and a few others out there as well. I don't need to make a list, but there's some out there, you know, take with a grain of salt here and there. But there's some good ones out there overall if you want some pro Xbox stuff, right? But don't follow these idiots, three stooges like this. They're lying to your face. They're coping. They're making stuff up. They're making excuses. It's just really a bad look and a bad thing to see. But that being said, we will end it here. A lot to unpack there, guys. Would love to hear from you down in the comments section below about this whole ordeal. What are your thoughts and opinions? Would love to hear from you. Also, if you could leave a like as well, both those things do help out the algorithm. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself. And if you enjoy the truth and want someone being straight up with you, that's what I'm here for. So I appreciate that. And we are on our way to that 3,500 sub goal. So thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault gaming video. And until then, take care.